we're all hungry to, get the social media figured out and get the ads and get the things. But the problem is you get this inbound and then your team isn't set up to be able to deal with it.
Yep.
And so it's an immediate crash and your clients suffer, your business suffer, and you as a leader struggles. You really can't scale until you've gotten your team figured out.
You can help people write a book in 90 days, but is that realistic for most people?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, that's doable. When you have a good strategy, it doesn't have to take years to do this. You can be in the process for 90 days and come out of it with an amazing book that's set up to build your business and best sell.
This specific client, she was in a very small town in Washington. She was like, I live in a small town. I can't do this. She was making $1,000 a month. Within 2 years, we got her to 70K months.
Come on, let's
70K
go.
months.
Small town,
Yep.
making $1,000 a month, said
Yep.
I can't do this, and now she's making 70 grand a month.
Correct.
Let's
Yes.
go.
Lia, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. So excited to be here.
She's got
We're
double
so
trouble
excited.
today. Two
Yeah.
platforms.
We've got Chris Harder in the Chris Harder Show.
Yes.
And then we have Lori Harder in the Earn Your Happy Show. And we're so excited that you're here, that you're at the house. You came to a VIP weekend, which this is so much fun. We get to spend like 2 days straight with you and you get to come on the podcast. But we are most excited to have you on because you are so talented. You are in our Mentor Collective Mastermind as a coach, and people are obsessed with you and what you do. And we find so many people need you and your skill set. So we're going to dive into that.
Yeah. So speaking of, everyone calls you the team whisperer. Like we go to you when we have questions about team and all that stuff. But can you describe to the listeners that may not know what that really means granularly? What do you do?
Yeah. So, team whisperer, I see it as connecting the dots between leaders and their teams. And so that could look like big corporate teams that are struggling with management, or founders that are hiring, a fractional CMO or something like that. So I work with teams big and small to really make sure that we are high performing.
It's interesting because I've gotten to do that live with you, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of my one-on-one clients, when they have large teams, I only do what I know I'm good at. And then I bring in outside experts to do the part that I may not be as good at. And I've brought you in with some of my one-on-one clients to go and assess their team and give them a report of here's who's high risk, here's who's not, here's who's engaged, here's who's not, here's who needs a raise.
Yeah.
And you literally blueprint or roadmap what they need to do next with their teams. And I watch them be shocked because they don't know. They don't know this person's at risk. They don't know this person's job hunting. They don't know this other person needs a raise because they're so busy operating the business.
Yeah.
What's it like to go in and kind of reveal this roadmap of, hey, here's what's going on in your business and what kind of reactions do you get?
Yeah. I mean, I love the question. I think starting with the reaction is people are pretty shocked, right? Like as a business owner or a founder, you are so focused on growing and scaling that you don't realize that, someone stopped being engaged,
Yep.
right? They used to really care and now they're kind of coming in a little late or they're not finishing stuff. And so what I can find really right away within a few hours, a few conversations is exactly what you said. Where people are quiet quitting, where they're probably looking for another job, where they feel undervalued. And there's some tells that I can notice right away. So like if someone is asking about a title change, if someone is asking about taking on some other responsibilities, there's some signals that I can assess and I can tell you right away, like, hey, this person, you need to be doing more recognition with them. This person's not engaged. They need to be managed out potentially, right?
Yeah.
And so I can figure that out really within hours.
I just got to give you credit because you found that a top performer at one of my clients' businesses, like their number one cog in the wheel, was probably going to go look for jobs elsewhere. And all it took was a simple title change and a baby little raise. And now things are just humming along. So they always say, what hurts you isn't what you know. What'll hurt you is what you don't know. And that's what you uncover.
Exactly. And that's one of the biggest struggles I think business owners face is they wait until it's too late.
Yep.
And then they lose that person. So people sometimes come to me when that person resigned, right? And they say, well, what do I do? How do I prevent that? Well, you can prevent it way easier by getting support. Like if you have a high performing team, that's the moment actually to engage someone to help you keep that team performing.
Yes.
That's what I was just going to ask is how do you know as a business owner when you should bring someone like you in to assess everything? And what does that look like?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because like I mentioned, even if you have one or two employees, right? I have a new client that has 2 employees. She's doing $4 million in revenue. And one employee is really crushing it. And the other one's not quite doing it. And so she brought me in, even with a super small team, because she wants to make sure that she's maintaining that revenue. So I think when, there's no time that's too early. And a lot of times I get the question of, well, I want to make sure I've hired these people already before I engage support, or that, I've grown to this level. And you actually can't grow to that level sustainably if you haven't figured out how to lead. So I would say it's never too early. I think if you are, have at least 2 or 3 team members all the way up to, 50 plus, you need to make sure that you are deploying those people the right way, because there's nothing more expensive than people.
No, you got that right.
Right. And there's nothing more frustrating and expensive than having to rehire and retrain and deal with that whole hamster wheel of having a low performer.
Yeah. It's funny because on that topic, Lori and I always say finding your people is the hardest part of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
When I say your people, I mean, put it in quotes, your ride or dies, finding the cogs in the wheel that really make the wheel turn well. Finding your people is the hardest part of entrepreneurship. Everything else is easier to figure out. And so with that being the case, I would love for you to kind of break down a team that is, let's say 5 or under, what's the most common problem that they face?
Yeah.
And a team that would be 10 or more, what's the most common problem that type of leader faces?
Yeah. So with the smaller team, it's typically that leader is too much in the weeds. They are still in the day-to-day, they're making all the decisions, they're the bottleneck. And often it's a product of they haven't quite figured out really what is their role.
Yeah.
How do they operate as a CEO? It's more comfortable to be in the weeds and signing off little things, because it's scary to step into that CEO role. And so actually, I think we can relieve ourselves from that by having a clear understanding of what's getting done. And actually, this free resource I'd love to share with the community is called a snippets template. I've shared this with teams big and small. And folks summarize, top wins they've gotten done for the week, where they're focused next week, and where they're stuck or struggling.
Oh, dang. That's good. Does the team do that or the leader do that?
The team fills it out every Friday so that when you go into the following week, you know exactly where folks are at.
That's so good. Where did they get that?
Where do I get that?
Yeah, where's Lori?
So you get that at liagarvin.com/snippets. And this is a tool that I built while I was working at Google.
Yeah.
And it literally works with teams big or small, because you can recognize wins, you know what the priorities are, and you know where someone's stuck and not telling you because they didn't want to bother you, but there's actually a real big bottleneck happening.
This is so good, because let's be honest, we mean well, but we're all moving so quickly. Okay, Lori, how at the end of the day, you and I do 3 wins, and you got to say 3 wins for the day, and I got to say 2. We do that to each other, but we don't do that with our teams. We don't know what their wins were. We don't know what these snippets are.
Yeah.
This is such a great tool. This will easily make you 100% better leader and have 100% happier team, because now they know they're getting recognized.
Exactly.
Just by doing, it's liagarvin.com/snippets.
Yeah.
All right.
Leah, I'm going to add that to my Monday meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll keep you posted.
Yes, I love that.
Okay. Awesome. So what issue do you see entrepreneurs face over and over with their team? And could you break it down for, small teams under 5 people? And again, like Chris said, let's do the small team and then let's do the larger team.
Small team, big team.
Yeah. So I'll do big team. I think for a bigger team, it starts to be where you're going to have people that are overseeing larger projects. Maybe you're managing managers. And then you become even more distant from the work. And so that's where things like this snippets tool, having a key set of meetings, not too many, but where you can keep the right pulse so that you can delegate better. And I think, it's funny, at the end of the mastermind last year, we have, a wager, and folks are supposed to, complete some big goal. And a couple folks said, "Oh, I cheated. I delegated."
Yeah.
And I said, "What?
That's not cheating. That's doing it the right way."
Delegating is leading effectively. And
this is how you
get
to your goal.
How you lead.
That's so funny.
I think the biggest thing that leaders of big teams forget is delegating and finding that leadership team and letting go is going to be their superpower. That's going to let them scale and grow and focus on building the brand from a different capacity instead of just getting in the way and bottlenecking decisions.
Let's go a little bit further on delegation.
Yeah.
Why do people have a hard time doing it? And what are some steps that you can do if you're kind of afraid to give things up?
Yeah. So the fear is the big one, what you just said. I think people don't delegate because they're either afraid that their team's not cut out for it. It's a trust thing. Or they're afraid they don't really know how to explain it. So it's actually afraid that I do this thing intuitively, but I don't know how to tell somebody else.
Yeah.
Right. And so I have a client that runs a PR agency, and she does some media trainings. And when she sits down with a leader to train them, she can intuitively assess where they're stuck, what their message should be. But she doesn't know how to explain that to her team members because that's her superpower. So she's struggled to let that go and is deeply in the weeds in this area that she could really be training her team on and scaling. And so I think what we need to do is slow down and actually break down what feels intuitive. What am I actually doing? You know what I mean? So like what you described, when I sit down with a leader or a team, I actually run through a mental checklist of what I'm asking them and what I'm looking for. You need to be able to explain those things to your team so that you can actually step out of that. And then you can trust yourself to let go.
Yeah.
And then you hand those things off to your team. And then you see, okay, I give someone a little bit. I start building trust. I give them more. There's some wins. And now I give them more. So we don't trust people overnight the day they get hired. No, I mean, we want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But we give them small areas and kind of accumulate those wins, and then it's easier to let go.
I always say, like, instead of trying to do everything 100% yourself, it's better to have 10 people maybe doing it 80 or 90% as good as what you could.
Yeah.
But you have to be okay with that 10 or 20% being mistakes.
Yeah.
And knowing that the greater collective, though, is way better mathematically than what you could do.
Exactly.
You know, and it's just getting comfortable with the fact that, yes, mistakes will happen. Like, listen, if you run one McDonald's, all the burgers are going to be pretty good. If you run 100 McDonald's, there's going to be some shit burgers.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it's going to go, but you're still going to survive.
Yeah.
I'm just like sitting having this obvious epiphany of this is like any relationship in your life. Chris and I have been together as long as we have, for like 24 years now, because we have 2 times a day that we check in with each other. And we forget about this with our teams. And it's like these automatic check-ins that help you assess what we talked about in the first question of, are these people going in? Are they all in? Or are they on their way out?
Yeah.
And we just don't give ourselves those check-ins with our people. So it's like we would start to even understand our company, our culture, our people who we're working with, what motivates them, what drives them. And that's really, really what you do is feel like you just have the pulse on all of your people and how to run it and how to get them.
She's got the snippets.
The snippets, man. She's got them. Yeah.
And even through something like that, let's say someone is really excited and putting all these wins, and then over time you see they only put 2 wins instead of 3, or they're less detailed. Even just looking at that, they're communicating something to you.
Oh yeah.
They are showing you, I'm kind of checked out, right? I used to be more excited about this job. Or maybe you can say, hey, like, are you feeling spread too thin? Like, you used to really, add a lot of commentary to this document. Where's things happening? And so it allows you to have that pulse on your team, like you said. And I think one of the things that I like to impart on every business owner is that it is your highest performers who know their value, and they're always looking for a better option.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the truth, right? So we cannot be surprised if a high performer finds a better deal for themselves.
AI is causing a lot of fear and uncertainty and, oh my God, is my job going away in the workplace? It's a whole new monster for leadership to deal with.
Yeah.
What are you seeing with the onslaught of AI coming? There's no stopping it. And leadership challenges, and what should people be doing?
Yeah. Such a great question. I mean, I think what I'm seeing I'm a little nervous about is I think we're jumping right into like, oh, I have a hard conversation to have. Let me get a script from ChatGPT, or I don't want to deal with this, so let me just hand off to AI. And I think we are actually stepping over identifying, well, what problem are we even trying to solve here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I have to give you some hard feedback and I ask AI, how do I have a hard conversation? Chris was late on this deliverable, whatever. It has no idea of the context, the relationship that we've had, the things that are going on in your life, anything in the company. And so I think we are kind of handing off as leaders our responsibility wholesale to just get some answers to questions. Now, there's great ways to utilize AI to, for research and for, pulling together information and making something that feels like very tedious easier.
Yeah.
But the leadership skills, like, we need to be doing that. That's why we're here. So I think having hard conversations, we want to be developing those skills, how to give feedback, how to motivate people. Those are things that is what is the human part that we really want to keep developing. And so when I work with leaders, I always work to develop those skills in them so that they can then deploy AI in the right way.
So AI is just making your job faster and easier. It's not taking you out of it. But let's look at it from the respect of people managing people who are afraid that their job's going away. Because we have to be very honest.
Yeah.
Things like accounting, it can now be done by AI. They've got fractional CFO AI that is phenomenal, where it eliminates the majority of the work that you need a CFO for in some cases. Engineering, some medical, like we were out to dinner with 2 doctors, really highly regarded doctors. And they're like, you would not believe how this is replacing what we used to do and how it's going to change the landscape of how many doctors you need, in a situation.
Yeah.
So people do know that some jobs will get replaced. How do you manage that fear?
It's absolutely right. This is here, like you said, it's not coming. I think it's not about wholesale though, and it's not overnight, right? I think that's a mistake that a lot of us are making, is especially business owners saying, okay, I'm going to replace my marketing agency with this or my designer. And then we bring in an AI tool and we realize it's not quite it. It didn't quite hit the mark. And so I think it's figuring out what are those key bottlenecks that we can replace, and then training up our team members on how to utilize those. So maybe we do scale back a little bit, but we're doing it in a way where we don't lose the essence of the output. So I'll give an example. I think a lot of creative teams are looking at utilizing AI for video and copy and things like that, but people are starting to be able to tell where it's missing. And with things like content creation, we want the person behind it, right? So we don't want to actually, create a new problem by utilizing it. But I will say, like you said, things like, engineering, medical research, we're learning how to make sense of, well, what are the new jobs that are going to be created based on this?
Yep.
Just like with globalization and other kind of automations in the past, like it is an economic cycle that's going to shift the way we work. And for our teams, the more that they can be accountable, take responsibility for mistakes, be learning these tools, be staying on the cutting edge, not be defensive and some of these things that like kind of make you replaceable faster. Be
irreplaceable or the robot's going to get your job.
Exactly, right? So it's also on us to train our teams around, hey, like this is a moment where you can really stand out.
Yeah.
And give them that opportunity.
That's cool.
So I want to know, because you're talking to a crowd on both of our podcasts who are entrepreneurs, want-to-be entrepreneurs, scaling entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
What are you personally working on in your business? Like, what are you, and talk a little bit about what you're struggling with right now and how you're working on that.
Yeah. So I think a big struggle is really helping leaders understand that, they can't get to the next place if they don't focus on their team.
Yeah.
We're all hungry to, get the social media figured out, get the ads and get the things. But the problem is you get this inbound and then your team isn't set up to be able to deal with it.
Yep.
And so it's an immediate crash, and your clients suffer, your business suffer, and you as a leader struggles. And so I think what I'm really hoping to impart on entrepreneurs is you really can't scale until you've gotten your team figured out.
Yeah.
Even if it is, again, just delegating to a VA or a fractional COO, right? I mean, it's like, or whatever roles you have. If you don't know how to explain what you want, set expectations, talk about deliverables, you can't even bring on like a social media agency. Right. So I think the need to actually slow down and say, wait, how do I, figure out even where I'm going with my business? How do I know what I want? And so that's what I support folks with. And one of the ways is through this ops playbook, which really maps out, where you are today and where you're going with your business, right? What are your expectations, your working norms, how you set priorities, how you're tracking work? Because if we don't have that figured out, whether we're a, 5-person business or 100, then how is anybody going to be able to support us? They really can't.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so where can we find you, follow you? How can we work with you? Who's your ideal client? Let's start there. Who's your ideal client? How can they work with you?
I think ideal client is someone with, from 3 to about 30 team members, right? Where you're doing close to $1 million in revenue to $5 million, where you are at this moment where you want to scale, you want to keep growing, but you know that there's something getting in the way.
Yep.
Right. And so ideally it's someone that's really eager to, figure that out and is okay looking under the hood and wants to, have their team operating their best. If you're a little bit scared of like what you're going to uncover, then,
and you really need it.
Yeah, you really need it. But, and it's not only if your team is broken, right? I don't think there's really broken teams. There's just opportunities. So if you have a high performing team or you have some struggles, it really both apply. Ways to find me are my website, liagarvin.com, on Instagram at lia.garvin, and my podcast, the New Manager Playbook Podcast, is a great place.
It's so good. I want to go back to put a ball in this thing with where I started. And I said, It's not what you know that hurts you.
Yes.
It's what you don't know that hurts you. And everybody, they do the, oh my God, this person gave their 2 weeks. Oh my God, this person gave their 1 month. I didn't see it coming. And there is a way to prevent that. And that way to prevent it is you. It's literally you. So definitely reach out to Lia. We reach out to Lia every time that we've got questions about our teams. You know, we're not leadership experts, so we have to tap into the leadership experts. And one more time, because we're going to be snippeting it up. What was it? Was it liagarvin.com/snippets to get that freebie?
Yes, that's exactly right.
That's really become a
You're
part
lucky
of
you
our
have an
meetings.
easy name to spell as well. But we will link everything up. So all you guys have to do is go back to the show, click on show notes, and everything is right there under Lia's name.
Yep. Well, thanks for jumping on.
Thank you so much.
It means the world to us. And you are just a great friend and a great resource for us. And so it's our privilege to be able to kind of share you with the world.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Ashley, welcome to the podcast. You are not only on the Earn Your Happy podcast,
but also the Chris Harder Show, 2 for 1.
Also the Chris Harder Show. So we're so excited to interview you. Talk all about your business. We're going to talk about the entrepreneurial side of building your business. We're going to talk about
books, and more books.
Books, and more books. If you have a book in you, if you're not sure if you do, this is going to be the podcast to listen to. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with the cliff notes. 60 seconds. What do you do and why should people care?
So really quick, I help people pull the most amazing book out of them, the one that they have had on their heart forever. They know they need to write it. And for whatever reason, they're just stuck. And I find this person every single day in all walks of life. And so that's what I do. My job is to give them the structure, the strategy, and the mindset to do it.
You've built a 7-figure business doing this. So first of all,
wow.
Props to you. That needs to be celebrated.
Wow. That's amazing.
And,
Thank you.
You know, people look at you today and say, look at her 7-figure business, look at her crushing it. But it didn't start that way. It really started as a labor of love. And there must have been a specific reason why you said, hey, I'm going to go all in and put it in the blood, sweat, and tears to go ahead and build this business. Bring us back there.
Yeah, I started the business at a really challenging part of my life where I had to do something for me that I cared about again, because I had spent so long doing things that were not connected to my mission, my passion, my heart. And so I built the business from a place of like, what can I do? What are the gifts that I have? And it was literally one day I sat down, I went to Fiverr. I was like, I'm doing this. I'm going to get a scrappy logo. I put it in a PowerPoint. I'm like, this is what I'm going to offer. And I just went out and started from literally ground zero.
I don't want to skip over that though. What happened that day? What flipped the switch that made you say, fine, I'm going to take that step?
That day I decided to listen to myself and stop listening to all the people's shoulds. You should do this. You should do that. You need to go get a job. And I was like, you know what? Actually, I'm going to do the thing that I feel like I can contribute to help other people. And it was a big leap of faith, but I took it and I went right into, designing a business from never having done that before. But it was amazing. It was the most freeing thing once I got those wheels turning, which took a little momentum, little effort.
Tell me a tiny bit about what that first build looked like, because somebody is sitting here listening to you right now and going, okay, but what did she do first? Did you go to Google? Did you get a mentor? Did you get a coach? Like, what did you look at to start?
Yeah. First 3 steps.
I picked a name. I was like, I am going to coach people on writing. I live in LA. Let's go with LA writing coach. It was I just didn't overthink it. And
actually,
I think
it's brilliant because the SEO for that is great.
It really did work actually. And it helped me get going because I just took that leap of faith and I didn't have the opportunity to overthink anything. I just got things going. So step 1, I picked a name. I grabbed that domain. I designed my offers and I thought about, okay, who am I going to help? I didn't even know to call them offers. I was like, what am I going to give people?
What am I selling?
Exactly.
And then I just started to organically tell people, this is what I'm doing. This is now what I'm doing. And I realized if I want people to, work with me and trust me, I actually have to start talking to them. And so that was the first kind of initial things I did. very soon after that, I wrote a book to help spread the word. So it became very clear soon after that, like that is step 4, like we need to write the book. So
were you organically reaching out to people, or were you on social talking about it, or was it all of the above?
It was mostly just conversations, networking, going to conferences, going to events, a lot of
where your clientele is.
Yeah.
So you were like, where's my direct clientele?
Where are my people? And just showing up and saying, you know, I help authors get their books done. Do you have a book inside you? And talking about that. And, you know, a lot of people
scrappy.
Guys, this is the key here. She was saying what she did before she really really did it. You know, showing up like, here's what I do. And so many people are like, oh, I kind of have this idea. I'm like, no, you got to go all in like that. You really do. And so you built something absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
From that.
Yeah.
How quickly from those organic conversations did the business start to feel like you had a business? Like you started to get some people?
It happened fast. So then I hired a coach. I got into a business coaching, you know, program, which is essential, I feel like, to get that mentor. And then everything started to move. That first year I did like 6 figures in a few months. It was like maybe 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, something like that. And then that same year, I doubled my revenue and went to 250 really quickly by the close of that year. So I was like, that's when my husband and I were like, okay, I think this is something we need to really, you know, put some more effort into because it's working.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's amazing. Okay. So let's switch gears real quick and let's talk to the people who are listening and feel like they have a book inside of them, but they're super overwhelmed or they're stuck. What is the first mindset or strategy shift that you think that they need to make to finally start?
Yeah, it's not actually too dissimilar from the business side of it, where you get the overthinking and you become sort of a perfectionist. That happens a lot with books because they're so permanent, you know, they're around forever, and people tend to think they can't, you know, they can't kind of knock it out of the park on book number 1, but you can. And so the first thing is mindset. You've got to get your head right. You've got to start thinking about the actions you're going to take and stop second guessing every move. And it's very similar to business. It's very much about get a strategy in place, get your mindset right, and start taking action on that book a little bit every day. No different if you're going to go to the gym and, you know, lose 30 pounds, right? It's that little every day that adds up. So
Lori asked about the people that know they have a book inside of them. I want you to speak to the people who have never considered it. Because let's be honest, writing a book can be very time consuming. It can be very daunting. It can be very intimidating. A lot of people think, oh, I don't have a message, or why me, or who am I to write a book, or they worry about people judging them. So I want you to speak to the people who don't think they have a book inside of them. Why is it important for them to consider doing this?
Every single person has an incredible story. I have never listened to somebody and thought, they don't really have a life story. Like, they don't really have anything. Most people have an incredible origin story about how they became the person that they are. And they've got, you know, serious things to share with the world, serious value. But they often just get hung up in their head thinking, I don't have that within me, or most people do. And it's, you know, writing that book is something that's going to change you. It's going to elevate the person that you are from a self-development standpoint. Like, it's going to make you better. No different to going to the gym every day or starting your business. Like, it's going to make you better when you actually take the time to sit down, you write that book. You're a different person at the end of that draft. You'll never be the same, in a great way.
I want a real example. Can you think of a client that started out thinking a book is not for me, and now they're like flourishing because of it?
Yeah, so many. I think they came into the process with resistance. We had a client called Lynn, and she had been told her whole life to write her book. Like many people get told, you should write a book. You should write a book.
Oh yeah.
And she was told this for decades, and just for whatever reason didn't feel like she could, you know, do it. We worked together. We wrote her book, and she just blossomed. She started speaking. She, you know, built her professional speaking business and started to actually, you know, really grow in her confidence. And she's now the author of like 2-3 books. I believe she's on her 3rd, which is incredible to me because she started with nothing. So
when people were telling her, write the book, what was her resistance? What was she afraid of?
I think it's the, what will people think of me? It's the, do I have something really to share?
Yep.
Who am I to write a book? It's, who's going to want to read what I have to say? It's all of those thoughts that get people really stuck and self-doubt, right?
I remember this with my book. Number one, I did not graduate high school. I'm like, who am I to write a book? I can, like, what do I even know about? I didn't even complete like English classes. So how am I ever going to do this? That's just what was going on in my head. And there was also the thought of, are these stories good enough? Especially once you start writing, like even if you get the confidence to write the book, when you start writing, it actually comes in with a vengeance even more. Like I have nothing good to say, but I talk about this with all of my authors that come on the podcast. And of course, all the people who love to help people write books and exactly what you do with your business. And it is like the little stories that are the big stories. Like I even find in the books that I enjoy the most, or even the stories that people let me know they enjoyed in my book, I was like, that was a story that I didn't even know what to add there. And I looked around the coffee shop and wrote about who was in the coffee shop and what I was experiencing. It wasn't even a life story. It was stories that were happening simultaneously to me writing that I was sharing while they were happening. So of course I had a couple big, stories in there, but you have like 20 chapters in a book.
Right.
And so a lot of the little stories become the big stories, and a great person like you is going to guide them and show them how their life is content,
That's right.
and how you get a really beautiful story out of that.
Yeah. I mean, your stories, your everyday life, the way you think, your perspective has enormous value. And a lot of people discount that, I feel like. So my job is to show you and highlight actually how that is value for your reader and for your audience. So
I literally can't say how important it is to have a coach. I had coaches through the entire process, and I became such a better human being. I became so much better at business, at sales. I became so proud of myself. I learned how to look at my life in a completely different way through like these coaches' lenses who were constantly coaching me on how to think and how to speak and how to tell those stories. I think if I did not write the book and go through that process, I wouldn't be half as successful as I am now, for sure.
Yeah. That person who's doubting whether they even have it or they've never thought about it, they really need to look at their life and realize people are vastly interested in how you became the person you became.
Yes.
And they want to know. And for me, there's no greater way to share that than in the written form. It just holds such value, such longevity.
I think that's because they can find themselves in your journey. Like my favorite books are biographies of entrepreneurs. Because you nailed it. People really want to dig into how'd you get where you went? Because I can find my journey, albeit a little bit different, in other people's journey and be like, oh, it's going to be okay. Or, oh, this is just a setback. Or, oh, this is the launching off part. Or, oh, they made that move. Clever. Maybe I should make that move. And I think that's why people out there need to share their story, regardless of where you are in life. Because there's somebody else that's looking and wishing, I wish I knew how they got where they went.
Yeah. And I think pulling back the curtain is where, we have a lot of people go, okay, this is actually what I did. This is the truth. This is the real deal, right?
Yeah.
Versus what we portray sometimes, in other mediums. The book is a chance to say, actually, look, here's a piece of my life you didn't know, right?
Oh God, I did that. I was like, well, I'm not brave enough to tell this to everyone, but I need them to know this in order to understand why I do what I do and who I am. And I remember like before releasing, I was like, oh shit, like what did I do? And now I'm so grateful. It's such a good modality to really tell the whole story because, a lot of people who are listening, social doesn't do justice to our stories. And if you're a long form person, especially, and you've got a big message, like a book is going to be the way to really drive that home and drive people to it. And that can be really the driver of your business. So you've got a new book.
Yes.
The Author's Success Code. So it breaks down exactly how to write a book that builds your authority, your audience, and your income. You guys, you need this book. Can you share one of the biggest myths that you see about writing a book and what's actually true if you want your book to work for your business?
I love it. So the biggest myth is that you can just sort of sit down and write and just flow. And it's like, yes, you can.
I remember when you thought that. Maybe like, I'm going to write when I'm creative.
Oh, that was ugly.
Write from inspiration. Let it just flow through me. Like, okay, some of that, but like you really need a good structure.
Yes.
You need that 3-part structure to hook them in, pull them through your content. And then at the end, especially with nonfiction, you need to convert them into the thing that you offer, your programs, products, services. You need to leverage that reader into the next thing with you. And if you've done your job right with that structure, they're going to be so persuaded by the end. They're going to be like, what's next? Like, I want that thing.
Yeah.
And so your job is to kind of serve it up to them organically in there.
It reminds me of when you were writing your book, babe, the whole, I'll do it when I'm inspired. It doesn't happen. And you had to form a habit of showing up every morning, sitting down and saying, I'm going to sit here whether I write a word or not. And you'd time yourself. Would you sit there 90 minutes every morning at 5:30 a.m.?
Yes.
When was it? 5:30, right? Before I was up.
5:30.
And you would force yourself to sit there from 5:30 to 7 saying, if I write a bunch of stuff or if I write nothing, I'm still going to sit here. And that's how you build the muscle of writing a book.
You have to. And it really does get better. And I was the opposite of a person who wanted to number 1 sit, number 2 write.
Yes. Yes. That muscle has to be built. And it's, it's a strategy of like, okay, whether I write garbage or this is Shakespeare today, I'm going to make myself do the habit. And you just have to show up consistently.
Ladies, I have to share this because it is too good to keep to myself. Bras and underwear have always been a bit of a struggle for me. It's hard for me to find something that I absolutely love. And it feels like when I do, they're discontinued or I can never find in my size. They either dig in, they roll, they scrunch up, or just feel uncomfortable halfway through the day. I wear a lot of white. I wear a lot of form-fitting clothing. And so I hate the fact that you can either see your intimates or they roll or they just don't look right. And I honestly thought that this is just how it was until Skims. You guys, I finally tried the Fits Everybody collection and I am literally blown away. Like, I thought they would be good, but I had no idea they would be freaking amazing. The material is unreal. It's buttery soft. It's breathable. It molds to my body like a second skin. It's sexy. It's literally the best fit in fabric I have ever worn in my life. And I got the Fits Everybody triangle bralette, the thong and the dipped front thong. And I'm not exaggerating when I say I am obsessed. The bralette gives me the support I want without ever feeling like I have really anything on. The thong doesn't roll up or bunch, and the dipped front style is so flattering and comfortable. I forget that you even have it on. And you guys, I will never go back now. I'm going to replace everything in my drawer with Skims. I'm obsessed with the material. I'm obsessed with the color. And if you ever struggled with intimates that don't feel right, I promise you, this is the solution. The comfort, the fit, the feel, Skims nailed it. Shop Skims Fits Everybody collection now at skims.com. And after you place your order, let them know we sent you. Select podcast in the survey and be sure to choose Earn Your Happy in the drop-down menu. And yes, you guys, this is an ad, but I am literally obsessed. This is the brand I wear and that I'm replacing everything with. You know, when I first started my business, it felt like I had to learn every single role overnight. Designer, marketer, accountant, tech support, you name it. It was so overwhelming and frustrating. I didn't actually know if I'd be able to do it. And even when I started Glōci, I remember the early days of figuring out packaging, shipping, building a website, and doing this all for e-commerce, which I was not used to, and trying to make it all look beautiful without losing my mind. I kept thinking, I wish I had a partner in this. And that's why I always tell people now, if you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, 10% of all e-commerce in the US. We're talking household names like Mattel, Gymshark, to brands that are just getting started, and also Glōci. So with Shopify, you can get started with your own design studio, hundreds of ready-to-use templates, help you build a gorgeous store that matches your brand style, accelerate your content creation with built-in AI tools that can write product descriptions, headlines, and even enhance your product photography. Get the word out like you've got a marketing team behind you. Shopify makes it easy to create email and social campaigns so you can show up wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert, helping with everything from inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. So turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/happy. That's shopify.com/happy. Shopify.com/happy. One of the most stressful things about moving into a new home is all the little details you don't think about at first, like window treatments. In our last home, I used blinds.com for our blinds and our curtains, and it was honestly such a seamless experience. They sent me samples super fast. They helped me choose what would look best, and the turnaround time was fast. Thank God, because our windows weren't covered. Everything was easy, beautiful, and done without the headache that I expected. That's why I'm so excited to share blinds.com with you, because they've truly reinvented the way we shop for custom window treatments. So maybe you even just want to upgrade what you have right now. There's no more waiting around all day for an in-home designer just to get an overpriced quote. So with blinds.com, you can shop 100% online or get expert advice through virtual design consultations, all on your schedule. Whether you know exactly what you want or you need help deciding, blinds.com makes it simple. You can do it yourself, or you can let their pros handle everything from measure to install. Either way, you'll have experts by your side every step. And you'll get the same designer look that you see in a showroom without the showroom prices. Plus, they've got so much more than blinds. Think bamboo shades, shutters, even outdoor patio shades. And every order is backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee. With 29 years in business and over 25 million windows covered, they're the #1 online retailer for a reason. Right now, blinds.com is giving our listeners an exclusive $50 off when you spend $500 or more. Just use code EARN at checkout. Limited time offer, rules and restrictions apply. See blinds.com for details.
I love it. I love that you do this, because it is definitely outside of like an event or starting your own business. I think writing a book, starting your own business, or like throwing an event is like one of the largest personal development journeys of your life. And you know, like you had said, you are a different person on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
Someone who you're just so proud of, and who really can feel pretty unstoppable after writing a book.
Oh yeah. I have clients launch businesses. They go out, they start landing TED Talks.
Yeah.
Their confidence, like, I did the hard thing. I did the thing I didn't think I could do, that so few people do successfully. I finished that thing, it's a testament to that perseverance.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal,
I'll say even someone who, I literally get hundreds and hundreds of podcast pitches a week, and I will take someone a lot more serious who has a book.
Yep.
Because they chose, or they decided and knew that their message was big enough and concise enough and clear enough to put in a book, that I know that they spent a lot of time to create, an outline and a set of tracks for people to run on.
Right.
Where a lot of times if I have someone who's like, yeah, I love to talk about X, Y, and Z, I'm like, great. Have you are you going to get on this podcast and are you really going to take us down a linear path, or is this going to be all over the place? Like, do we have our 3 things we're going to talk about? Or do we have our 5 things, or chapter 5 that's really going to get into this framework? Like, it really helps me know what they're going to come with.
Yes.
And it helps you book stages. It helps you book opportunities. It's a calling card. It's like you can lead with it. And when people don't have it, it can make it a little bit tougher. It can make it a little tougher.
It's like, when everyone got a blue check mark instead of just like well-known people having a blue check mark.
Right.
Well, now the book has to be the new blue check mark, because there's nothing else to set you off being special. Like, you took the time to sit down and actually write a book, instead of just saying, you can't say you're somebody until you've actually done the work to be somebody. And that's what a book kind of validates.
Yeah, definitely.
Said from a guy who doesn't have a book.
Chris, we got to fix that.
Yes, exactly.
You would write such an epic book. I can't wait till you have enough time to do it. We'll see.
Yeah, it'd be called the Bible of F words. Yes.
Great. Well, everyone needs it.
Yes, exactly. How I F-worded my way to millions of dollars.
I mean, you kind of have. So is Gary Vee. So it's great.
Yeah, I like it.
And the irony is, it'd probably sell really well with a title like that. So
really
bestseller
would.
status
There
on
we
top
go.
of it.
We got my title.
You heard it here, everyone. That was so easy. Great.
Well, all joking aside, somebody like myself that wants to write a book, or someone that's listening, you're relaunching something that's super cool called the Book Accelerator.
Yes.
And you're also working with a handful of one-on-one clients. Talk to me about the difference. Like, who is the Book Accelerator for versus who's the one-on-one hands-on attention for? And what kind of entrepreneur or leader, are you trying to call in?
Yeah, so great. Well, I'm really excited to relaunch it, because it's our signature program, and The book accelerator is for people who want to do this in a group. They want to do this with other authors. They want to be part of a cohort. They want to move through an experience together and feel that momentum and kind of make those connections. Whereas the one-to-one is more of a curated experience for somebody that doesn't have a lot of time. They want some done for you components in there.
Yeah.
So I like to come in and do their book branding, help them build that outline, that structure. So I do a lot for them in that experience, where the group, it's more like, here's the method, here's the sauce, right? You go and do it yourself, and you find your way, you build your content yourself, but we're here to help you, right? So done with you versus more done for you. But that person ideally has a business that they're driving people toward, right? So they want to leverage their credibility and their experience, and they want to essentially build their business through the power of a book. So looking for that person who has that entrepreneurial background and is looking to grow and elevate through the book being out.
So awesome. How long does it take? Like, I think I remember seeing on your Instagram one time that you can help people write a book in 90 days, but is that realistic for most people?
I think for most people that dedicate themselves through, several months, right? And that's their main focal point. Absolutely. That's doable.
That's really cool. I mean, that's fast. That's
cool.
cool.
Chatty G now.
Yeah.
You can do a whole lot too.
Chatty G, listen to all my episodes, the past 1,100 episodes, and then put it into a book for me.
But that is interesting for people who have a lot of content out on the internet already. There's a lot like that. They can speed up time a lot more.
Yes. And I think our friend, AI can do a lot of the planning and heavy lifting for us, a lot of the organizing. But when it comes to writing, I really like people to sit down and do what you did, Lori, and commit themselves to drawing those words out of them, because, well, one of the things is you can't copyright a book that AI has written. So,
Interesting.
People be careful. Publishers won't touch it, so you gotta be,
because you don't fully know. You don't fully know if those words are taken or not. You just really don't know what's happening right now.
Publishers won't touch it. It's,
What's one more thing that would surprise people about writing a book, like in a good way?
Oh, in a good way. I think just the sheer speed that you can move through the process. A lot of my clients, especially those one-to-ones, they'll get to a certain point and go, this feels really fast, almost like it feels like it should take longer. And I'm always like, well, no, I mean, when you have a good strategy that you're, utilizing, it doesn't have to take years to do this. You can, be in the process for 90 days and you come out of it with an amazing book that's set up to build your business and best sell. So
a lot of times a book itself is not necessarily that profitable, but you can make a lot of money because you wrote a book. Can you give me a specific example?
Yeah, well, I think my business, I built my 7-figure business off of one tiny little book that I cranked out in a matter of days. And
it's wild,
and not every book needs to be like that. This is a more substantial book, The Author's Success Code. But, I think books, I have lots of clients that, make 6 figures from their book, but it's because that book is feeding their business. So they're not sitting there waiting for the royalty check, although those are nice when they come in, right? But it's like icing on the cake. And the cake is obviously getting those clients and those sales and the speaking opportunities that pay. That's what they find is the best form of ROI, I guess, for the investment and the time. But
I think I like the long tail of a book. I mean, we still get royalty checks. It's been 8 years since you wrote your book.
Oh, yeah.
And every quarter we still get nice checks.
Yeah, and people still mention the book all the time, and I'm still getting booked on stages because of the book. And it's been, that was 2017.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
And people are like, oh yeah, you wrote a book. I'm like, long ass time ago, but yes, I did, and it is something that when I speak, I can bring it places. Like, it is street cred. It really is. And like I said, it's having all of your ideas in one spot. So if anything else, if people are kind of confused on how to package themselves and they've really had all of these different ideas that they're very passionate about and they love teaching on, maybe they have courses in different things, maybe their podcast is on something, to get a book is to I actually want to write another one just to repackage everything I really believe after all these years, because I do actually now have a framework that I believe in so solidly that I'm like, oh, this is what I want to put into a book so that I not only can like go and really talk about this and like have it in a structured place, but because it helps me package who I am and who I want to be out to the world. And that's the part that I think people don't understand, that's missing for a lot of people, is that really created my platform for quite a few years. Like I sold so many events off that because my book was about relationships and friendships and how to use those to become your highest self. And that literally informed all of my content for the next, 7 years.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. And there's something about putting that down and being able to just say, hey, here's who I am. This is what I do, what I believe in. Want to know more? It's all here. Right.
Yeah.
And it's such a cool thing to see the longevity, like you're talking about,
Yeah.
Years and years and years of that same content. So.
And if people use it right, I mean, you should be using your book for 10 years. I really believe you should. Like
I agree.
continue to bring it out, to share it, to talk about it.
Yeah.
And so let's leave people with two things. I would love for you to leave them with any entrepreneurial advice that you have for somebody who is either, maybe they've started their business or they're thinking of starting their business. And then the next one is for the future author. What would you leave them with? So let's start with the first one. Entrepreneurs.
Oh, those entrepreneurs, like, I feel you. It's like, so here's what I would say. Stop overthinking. Just take action. Even though it's messy, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to look polished. Not yet. That's okay. Just get going with it. I would say, don't overthink what you're about to do and start taking that action. Because a lot of people, so one of the things I would advise is sell it before you make it.
Yes.
Sell it, then go create it.
Yep.
For sure.
Because you just got to get in the rhythm of like, I'm selling a thing and then I'm going to deliver on what I sold. And that is often what the rhythm needs to be. So
Accountability. Or you won't do it.
Yeah. And so stop trying to like make it perfect and then go out and sell it, because otherwise you're not able to really test if it's viable. Better to get paid and then go make the thing that you just
I like that.
Yes.
talked
Totally.
about. Yeah.
Okay. Now for the writer.
So for the author, the aspiring author, I think I want to tell them to go back to their origins and really think about the story that only they can tell, right? The story that is maybe a little vulnerable, a little bit scary, but they know deep down is fundamental to who they are and why they're doing the work that they're doing, because so often they ignore that part of themselves. But that's where the good stuff is. That's where people really will connect with you and find, your heart, your humanity, and want to work with you. So like tell those uncomfortable stories, get vulnerable. And I feel like that's a great place to begin.
I love that. Where can people get the author's success code?
Oh, just go to Amazon and it's going to be there. You can look it up. It's also on my website, writingcoachla.com.
Writingcoachla.com.
Writingcoachla.com. That's
Love
it.
And what's your Instagram handle?
At Ashley M. Writes.
Love it. All right. Well,
Ashley
thank you
and
so
we're
much.
putting everything in show notes. So you
Yes.
guys can just scroll down and click and see everything that she just said.
Yep. Well, thank you so much for being on. It means the world that you take your time to come on and share like why you should be an author, how to be an author, how quick it can go, what the business case studies are for doing it, because it's going to make a huge difference in someone who's been out there kind of teeter-tottering, like, should I not?
Yeah.
It's a hell yes to do it.
And you're such an inspiration to people to
Thank
create
you.
something from, like, to have that, sick of your shit moment
And
Oh,
then
yeah.
take action.
to taking massive action and creating what you created and letting it just be messy and not knowing what you're doing. And that is the journey. So we're grateful for you coming on and sharing that.
Thank you. I'm so
And
grateful.
Thank
for
you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. Grateful for both of you. Thank you.
Kelly, welcome to the podcast.
Thank
are
you.
Not only on the Earn Your Happy show, but you're also
The
on
Chris
the
Harder Show, Double Trouble.
Yeah, so you get the both of us today, and we're so excited that you're here. You're actually here at home in our studio, which is so much fun.
Yes.
You are here for a VIP Mastermind weekend, and we're excited to dive into your business, because what's so exciting for us with these podcasts is to not only talk about exactly what you do, because you do some really cool stuff, but also to kind of share with people where you're at in your business and, what's working well for you, what's not working well. People get really excited to know that you're kind of in the trenches with them building. So we can't wait to dive in.
Yeah. And here's why I was excited to have you on. I mean this as a compliment. Medical practitioners are geniuses at everything except for building a business. My God, we were out to dinner with two doctors recently, about 2 nights ago.
Mm-hmm.
I actually know them.
Oh, you know them.
Yes.
And they were saying the same thing. They're like, nobody taught us this.
Right.
So we're here with our hair on fire, figuring it out on our own, on top of being parents, on top of being everything else. And there's just something about, it's probably because you study so hard to be a medical practitioner that you then never stop to study entrepreneurship.
Correct.
And this is what you specialize in. So for those listening, describe what you do to help medical practitioners get their business off the ground.
Yes. So what we do is we help men and women in the healthcare space, especially cash-based practices, grow and start their businesses online and in person.
What types of specific things do you do? You help them grow an email list? Do you help with marketing, or do you help with like the financial side of things, or is it a one-stop shop?
Yeah, great question. So we help with systems mainly, is getting people their time back and getting them organized. So basically we have a CRM system that we have white labeled, and we have that part of our programs that we use. And then we also have different programs that take you from the very beginning of when you're starting out and get you all the way through making, over $100,000 a month plus. And we work with OBGYNs, NPs, hormone doctors, physical therapists, occupational therapists, chiropractors. We work with everyone in the medical space that needs help, especially if they are a cash-driven practice.
And what I love about this is you're not just somebody who woke up and said, "Ooh, I'm going to teach business."
Right.
You were a medical practitioner, right? You're a pelvic floor specialist.
That's correct.
That happened to be one of the lucky ones that knew how to do business really well, built an incredible business and said, "Oh, my peers need this."
Correct.
So you're teaching from both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, it's been really amazing because I didn't know anything about business, like you said. And when I started to dive into this and get started, I was like, oh my gosh, I really need to figure out business, because all we were taught is help people, help people. And so deep down, that's what we love doing. We help people, but they don't teach us actually how to help people and do a business. And so that's why I'm really passionate about helping practitioners be rock stars in the business space. So yeah.
So take me back to that moment for you.
Yeah.
Where you were helping other people and you're like, this is my life's calling. I want to help these people. But it started to flip for you. And you realized that you wanted to do a lot more than patient care. It's kind of the moment the student realizes they want to be the teacher.
Right.
Where were you at in life, and what was that moment like?
Yeah. So I was about a year into after I started my practice. And I had one of my patients on the table, and she was a former patient of mine. And she was like, I just really have this passion for treating postpartum and pregnancy. And I was like, yeah, I know, you really do. I can see it. And she was a teacher. And so I was like, okay, how can we get you to be involved in this? So I was like, hey, you want to come work for me? And she was like, yeah, I actually do. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to coach you on how to leave your job. This is her career, being a teacher. And so I did, and I changed her life, and it was amazing. She came to work for us. She was my manager for 3 years. And that was the moment where I really realized, oh my gosh, like I'm not only helping people physically, but I'm also able to help them change their life completely. And it's in a different dynamic than I knew was possible. And so I started to do that over and over and over again with patients. Like I would coach them on how to leave their jobs. And it got me really excited. And I was like, why don't I do this for everyone else? And like, that was the moment that I was just like, yeah, I can really help people in business.
So
I love those stories because they start with one person. I feel like you just brought me back to a time where you and I, Chris, like, I think someone had asked like, oh, how did we grow our online business? And I also had a brick and mortar at the time. So I had a gym. And it was like, I think I came home and I was like, we should do like a day.
Coach this person. Yeah.
Like we should do like 4 hours with this person, just see where we can get. And it takes that one moment of, wait, this worked.
Yep.
How could I do this again? How could I scale this? How could I turn it into a business? So for anybody listening, it doesn't start with some massive business plan. It's typically one person that you got a transformation for. And you're like, well, shit, that worked.
Right. Exactly. It's exactly what it was. And it was
exactly
just such an inspiring moment where I was like, why don't I help other people do this? And then I saw my practice growing. And then I was like, why don't I help all of healthcare be able to elevate their businesses and actually have a business? And because you said, we're not great at business.
And it didn't just work. It really worked. So you went from helping that one person to growing this awesome 7-figure business, an online business and a brick and mortar business. So you know how to do both, right? Like awesome, crushing it.
Wait, you're young.
Yeah, she's barely getting started. Now, here's the catch though. You did it having these non-negotiables.
Correct.
Would you share those non-negotiables with everybody?
Are you ready to take your business marketing to the next level? Meet Brevo, the all-in-one marketing and CRM platform built to help you connect with your customers, boost engagement, and grow your business smarter. With Brevo, you can manage all your customer interactions in one place, nurture leads with their built-in CRM, reach your audience through email and SMS, and keep them coming back with powerful automations. But here's where it gets really exciting. Meet Aura, Brevo's AI assistant. Aura helps you craft smarter campaigns by suggesting personalized content, optimizing send times, and even analyzing performance data to help you improve your strategy in real time. It's like having a marketing expert on your team 24/7. And of course, Brevo offers advanced analytics, seamless integrations, and AI-driven personalization. Everything you need to create multi-channel campaigns that hit the mark every single time. Get started for free today or use code HAPPY to save 50% on starter and business plans for the first 3 months of an annual subscription. Just head to www.brevo.com/happy and take your marketing further with Brevo and Aura. You guys have to try Headway. Headway is a daily growth platform. It's a beautifully designed app that gives you bite-sized insights from the world's best nonfiction books in just 15-minute summaries, which is amazing because I have hundreds of books that I would love to read and I'm never going to make it through with my busy schedule. And these are available in both read and audio formats with nearly 2,000 titles across 30 plus categories from productivity and happiness to money and more. Headway makes it simple to keep learning even on your commute, during breaks. I love listening to it while I put my makeup on in the morning or between meetings. You'll find crowd favorites like Present Over Perfect, The Mountain Is You, Own Your Everyday, and Think Like an Entrepreneur, Act Like a CEO. Here's why millions of people love it, because it's personalized recommendations that align with your goals, progress tracking and gentle encouragement to stay consistent, an award-winning design that makes growth enjoyable. It's trusted globally with 50 million downloads and over 2 million monthly users, recognized as the #1 education app on the US App Store and often featured as Apple's App of the Day. You guys, people love it for a reason. Whether you're building your dream business, working on relationships, or just want more emotional clarity, Headway gives you the right wisdom at the right time. So if you're ready for growth that feels good, start today, grow your way the Headway. Go to makeheadway.com/happy and use promo code HAPPY for 25% off your subscription. That's makeheadway.com/happy. Use promo code HAPPY. One of my favorite places in the entire world is Paris. I swear I'm already mentally planning my next trip back there. So last year, after hosting a mastermind in Italy, Chris and I had to sneak over to France for a few days because while you're already in Europe, how can you not? We did a river cruise, which is one of my favorite ways to see the city. The views of the Eiffel Tower from the water are so freaking dreamy. And of course, I had to stop at every little cafe for a croissant, or should I say a croissant, and cappuccino. One of my favorite things to do when we travel is just wander without an agenda. Like just get lost in the streets and go wherever the wind takes you. Some of the best inspiration hits me when I'm exploring somewhere new with zero expectations and total white space in my calendar. Paris is so special to us. We've even talked about living there someday for a short period of time, or maybe a long period. I don't know. If you've got the travel bug like I do, you've probably stayed in a bunch of Airbnbs, but have you ever thought about hosting your own home on Airbnb to make it more affordable for yourself? So while you're out traveling, your home could be working for you. It's such a great way to make some extra cash to put towards your future bucket list trips like Paris. And your home might be worth more than you think. So you can find out how much at airbnb.com/host.
Yeah, I think the first thing is that #1, you must invest. Invest is huge. Like, I remember the first time I ever invested thousands of dollars, and my husband and I got in a massive fight. He walked out.
Accurate.
He was like, this guy is a scam. Do not invest in him. And I was like, no, I have to. Like, I can really feel like this is going to take me to the next level. And I did. And I got like a 7,000% return.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Do you like rub that in your husband's face for you?
That is
he's
so
like, just
good.
do whatever, right? But that's the number one thing is like people are so scared. I didn't have money. I had $800 in my bank account because I had to pay $230,000 student loan debt.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the money. So I got a credit card, put it on that. And I was like, I'm going to figure this out. Like, I'm going to figure this out. I have to. Like, when your back's up against the wall, you got to figure it out. So number one is invest. It doesn't matter how much money's in your bank account. You got to invest.
Damn, that's good.
Yeah. Number two is you have to grow an amazing team and cultivate an amazing culture and team. Team is huge. Being able to know your strengths and know other people's strengths and how you guys work well together is important. And they have to have passion. That's number three for me. Number three is you have to have passion and purpose.
Yes.
Okay. Because if you are not passionate, at least for me, if I'm not passionate about something, I'm going to move on to the next thing and I'm not 100% in it. So I have to be fully committed, fully passionate about it so that I am like game on and I get so excited to wake up and study and do the thing and just keep learning and growing and elevating everyone. Like I love that. And I would say number four is having high standards. I have very, very high standards, and taking that from when the patient walks in the door to when I work with my coaching clients, everything is at the next level and not compromising on that. No matter who comes into your life thinking, wow, your standards are so high, you should let go of those. And I've just learned, no, don't compromise on that. You have to be really firm and, be fearless and lead fearlessly.
These are the attributes that will absolutely make or break a business. I freaking love these. I forgot. What was number two?
I don't know. Team.
Yeah.
Team. Yeah.
Seriously, if people were enthusiastic.
Yeah. Passionate,
right?
Yeah. High standards.
Mm-hmm. If people invested more in themselves,
right,
even when they're afraid.
Right.
And if people made team first and foremost, like what's going down here, that is the secret recipe to you're going to make it even when you're in the beginning and being clunky and learning. Like you can absolutely out enthusiastically your skill set, if that makes sense.
100%.
I just want to dig into that last one because it's tough for people to hold a standard, especially if they, they didn't grow up with them. They didn't see them and they know they have them for themselves, but bringing them into a team can be really, really tough. Bringing them into your relationships, your friendships, into your life. How have you, what does that look like for you to hold a high standard? Like when other people aren't, like to put that upon other people. How do you do that? How do you get other people to do that?
Yeah, it can be extremely challenging. And I've had to learn, which again, we weren't taught in medical school. I've had to learn how to raise everyone's standard. So, and it's first just recruiting properly. I've made that mistake a lot where you didn't recruit the right people. And so you have to know their deep why before you even bring them on. You have to know what drives them. Their vision has to fit inside your vision. And so once you know that, and it's like, okay, you want to get this thing? Okay, great. Well, this is how we're going to do it inside this company. And as long as you put them on the forefront and really learn how to elevate them, then the whole team is moving forward. But if you're just like, hey, it's all about me and I want to just do this thing because it's me, you will not have a business. And you have to say, this is what we expect. So it's really about setting the culture from the beginning and sticking with that so that everyone knows when they're here, it's I always say game on. It's game on to freaking elevate.
I can actually feel her enthusiasm.
I can feel it. I love it.
These are standards.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for somebody who already has a team, they have not shown that standard yet. Is there something that you could go into your team with and you're like, hey, I went away and invested in myself. I decided this is the standard that we're going to hold. Like, how would you have that conversation? How would you bring that back?
Yeah. So I always try to bring my team along with along the journey that I go, because if they're with me, then they're not going to leave me, right. So I'm always like, hey, I'm going to go do this thing. Like I told my team today, I'm like, hey, I'm going to go do this thing. Anything I learn, I'll bring it back and we're going to, have a grouping and then we'll move forward on it. Right. And so as long as you kind of set that standard up front of this is how we're going to, invest and this is what we're going to do. And I think this thing is going to then elevate us to this level, or this is what we're going to take away from this thing to do this. And I think it's just setting the standard up front and then executing on it. So whatever you say, holding your word and saying, you know what, I'm going to then bring this back. And then next 3 days, we're spending time and we're going to just execute this out. And just really planning it out, And then they're like, okay, cool. She stayed to her word.
I love that. Yeah, we're just showing them, here's what we're doing next. Here's what I learned. Here's where we're going. Here's where we want to go. And it's such an opportunity for people if you frame it that way too. Like this is the more that we grow, the bigger the opportunity grows for you. So this is exciting. Like you make it exciting, not like the iron fist coming down. Like we haven't been this way and the best performing teams are this way and we're not this way. Like, you know, there's a delivery that's so important. So I love that. And your enthusiasm through this whole thing is so good and keeping that with your team. So you built a lot of success while you battled something personally that not a lot of people saw.
Yeah.
How did that shape the way that you lead and serve today?
Yeah. So there's a couple things. So when I was 3 years old, I stuck my head through a banister, got my head stuck. My sister, it wasn't coming out. My sister pushed my head back out and I ripped my right ear off.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I cannot hear out of my right ear, which caused me to have a learning disability. I can't hear that well. I couldn't read or write well. And every single person that I encountered throughout 25 years of going to school was like, there's no way you can go to medical school. How can you, do that? And I was like, no, watch me. I'm going to show you. And
Let's go.
And so I was like, game on. That's what I would say, game on. And I was going to make it my mission to help people, no matter how many freaking brick walls that they hit, that they're going to get around it. And I always say my disability was basically my prep work to entrepreneurship, because while everyone else could just easily go straight through, I had to learn ways to keep going around and around and around and around. And that is what makes, I think, a very successful entrepreneur, is being able to pivot quickly, not get discouraged by all the no's or the I can'ts, and keep going and moving to whatever that goal may be. And so I really like to push people, move people, motivate people, because I see so much full potential in so many people before they even see it themselves. And I love just using that gift of trying to move them. And I also, like 3 years ago, I had the skin issue, which you guys can probably see on my face. And it was staph infection from microneedling. And yep.
Wow.
And I have to show up every day on camera and, to do Instagram videos and to do all the promotions and all that kind of stuff. And so I had to make a decision do I show up without makeup on my face, or do I show up and, have makeup every single day on my face? And I was like, well, I'm not going to put makeup on my face every single day. It's just not going to be the case. So I had to make a choice whether or not, I'm going to just fearlessly put my face on camera or not. And it limits me. I couldn't work out for 3 years. I couldn't see sun for 3 years. It's getting better now, but yeah, it's been a big issue. And so I've just learned that screw it. I'm going to show myself on camera without makeup. So I'll come on camera with my hair messy, no makeup, whatever. And I actually had one of my students come in and say, you know what, we invested in your program because of the way you showed up on camera, because you're truly authentic. And I think because of my ear ripping off and because of the things I've been through, I am just a fearless leader, because I've been able to just navigate all the challenges that have come. And I think that just really brings the best out when I coach people, because I'm like, okay, you have this issue, no problem. We're going to hit it a different direction. So it's very customizable when I coach people. It's not just like, this is a Con Ed class, which in medical school, everything's by the book. That's not how I coach. It's very customized and systematized. So,
dang. Okay. Number one, so relatable. Now people are like, wait, if she had all that, I can absolutely do whatever I want to do. Right. So super inspiring, super relatable. You're instantly one of my favorite people. I just love your enthusiasm plus what you've been through.
Yeah.
That's what you struggled with when building your business. What are your ideal clients struggling with right now? Where do you see them stuck?
Yeah, a lot of them don't have self-confidence. That's a big thing, especially because I work with a lot of women. They need confidence, especially even to show up on camera, to put their face on camera, to be able to talk and communicate. Many people in the medical world don't know how to communicate. We know how to give you the Con Ed version of what we were taught and the manual skills and all that, but no one knows how to communicate. So this is my problem with medical world is, yes, we go to all these courses and we learn all these new techniques and we learn the most advanced thing, but then how are you going to bring that to the public so that people actually know what you do, how you do it, and how you're going to help them? They don't teach you that. So that's what I teach.
Dang, it's so good. Can you give an example of a student or a client? You don't share who they are, obviously, but where were they really stuck? And what specifically did you do to get them unstuck, and what was the end result?
Yeah. So I worked with this specific client. She is in a very small town in Washington. Like the airport's like 5 hours away. And she was like, I live in a small town. I can't do this. And she was making $1,000 a month. And within 2 years, we got her to 70K months.
Come on, let's
70K
go.
months.
Small town
Yep.
making $1,000 a month. Said I can't do this, and now she's making 70 grand a month.
Correct.
Let's
Yes.
go.
Yep. Yes. It's
What'd
amazing.
you change?
The results that we get is freaking amazing. Number one, build their confidence up.
Yeah.
Number two, teach them how to communicate. That's huge. Number three, be able to get them to get their voices out there and different modes of marketing, not just the traditional ways, right? So I would say those are the biggest things, and just keep creating a community. The community that I build, especially for women, is insane because they all are like, it's not just talking about our businesses. It's talking about what hairdryer did you use today to look cute? What's your makeup look like?
Very important.
Very important, right? What outfit are you putting on to do this thing? Like, how's the relationship with the husband? Like, all those things actually get you to show up better when those are good, better in your business. And so just creating a community of that is just, it's phenomenal. And just being able to elevate them.
I love this. So obviously, if a medical practitioner is listening and they want to work with you, how do they reach out to you and what should they say?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at PelviBiz. I will spell it PelviBiz. So at PelviBiz. And you can just say, hey, Kelly, I'm looking to start my business. Hey, I have a practice. And we do coach online and in person. So meaning brick and mortar. So if you're one of those, whether or not you want to do teletherapy, whether or not you want to start a actual physical location, we have successfully, I've done it myself, both to create 7 figures on each practice and also helped over 400 providers with their practices as well. And so, just say, hey, this is what I need. This is where I'm stuck. And I will create a customized plan for you and a pathway so that we can get you on the right track.
Dang, so good. And you have some awesome freebies.
Yes.
They're all right there in your Instagram link.
Yes.
But you have one of them in particular that's literally like a start here blueprint for people trying to get started.
That's correct. Yep. It's called a Kickstarter kit. So if you guys are getting started or wanting to get started and you don't know from a legal perspective and really kind of just all the ducks that you have to have in a row to get started, we have that right for you. So if you want that, just DM us and say, hey, I'm trying to get started, and we'll send that over.
Yeah. And that's what I love about that is it's the stuff. It's funny. I just said this in a different interview. It's the stuff you don't know that gets you in trouble, right?
Yeah.
And you mentioned the legal setup and all that stuff.
Right.
Because what happens is you're like, ooh, I want to do this business. And you just do the fun stuff you know.
Right.
And it's the stuff you don't know that gets you in trouble.
Right.
So I love
it's
that.
Happened to me.
Definitely go get that resource. All right. At PelviBiz.
Yeah, at PelviBiz, one word.
It's all right there in the links.
Yeah.
All right, we have it in show notes. So you guys can just literally scroll down on this show and click everything. It's super, super easy right there. So Kelly, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
This was
Thank
so
you
much
so
fun.
much.
Yeah,
yes,
you rock.
thank you.
Like, not kidding. Thanks for taking the time. Come on and explain what you do. You are instantly one of my favorite new people. Your enthusiasm is off the chain.
He lives for enthusiasm. So
I love enthusiasm too.
Yep. I love people with enthusiasm and people that have been through some shit and still made no excuses.
That's
and
exactly
you are
right.
the walking example of that.
Shit enthusiasm. We love the
100%.
combo.
Well, we appreciate you being on.
Thanks so much.
Thank you guys.